guys. So today we're just going to do a little bit of Ethan's bite-sized wisdom. So you know, I'm sure any philosopher that's watching this would agree with me. But if you go around and people are like, "What do you do?" and they're like, "I'm a philosopher," and you're doing philosophy of, say, intelligence or existential philosophy, or moral ethics philosophy. You know, it's just in general, right? The question that they're going to ask you is, well, what is the meaning of life? I think the first thing, and I mean, I think they ask it like pokingly, right? Because they're like, haha, you know, you haven't answered the great question yet. And I think this question can actually teach you a lot about not just philosophy, but um, how people that find answers go around looking for answers. And I think my answer to this question has always been, how much is number? All right. So, um, and I think it's to point at something, and the thing that you're pointing at is ultimately that the question itself is not necessarily valid. And it's steeped in some assumption that there is some end state to life, and there's a point, and there's a purpose, and that may be true, but it would be incorrect to assume. It's like saying how many numbers are there, and like only the last number is relevant. And so you have to acknowledge that first off, when you try to answer this question, that there is and there never will be one single purpose to life. I mean, like, you can sometimes think of it in different ways. I've been thinking of it almost like as in a checkpoint, right? So like, you got like a level, and then the point is to get to the next level. But I think one thing that remains constant, at least sort of in our perspective, in life, I think if you like start to understand like physics and unity and like, like different ways of thinking. I mean, like, there's a few, but like if you put it all together, you start putting all the puzzles together, and you're like, why this, right? Why am I looking at this? And then there's some like pretty deep answers to that. But I think one of the bigger reasons is, if you start to look at like what the purpose to life actually is. I think one of the better answers that you can give are the people around us. And so, for my bite-sized bit of intelligence today, my little bite-sized bit of wisdom, um, is that, like, there probably isn't one specific purpose, but like one thing that's really gonna make life, if you live for people, it's really gonna be, it's really gonna be quite a thing, because I mean, in our reality, we can solve problems, and we can look at things, we can understand things, and like, I think if you look at it like complexity is a kind of thing on its own, and like when you understand complexity, I think that's when you see the beauty in things. So like, beauty may be implicit in everything, but like, you only see the beauty in things when you see understanding and complexity. And so, I think the fact that people are so deep and so complex and so multifaceted and so challenging, um, you know, makes them one of the more, you know, profound reasons for why we did this all in the first place. Um, Assuming we signed up for this. The other more interesting part of this is that if that's your assumption, um, then we could actually say that, like, um, some level of selfishness is actually selfless. Um, if other people are the purpose for your life, and you're the purpose for other people's life, then you could start to make the argument that looking after yourself is one of the best things and the best ways to love the people around you. Because um, when they had a bad day and they're looking for meaning in it all, you could be the meaning, right? And you could be the unhealthy, badly taken care version, grumpy, and like all of a sudden, it's not so hard to, it's not so easy to see how you could be the purpose that they chose to live this life, to go through what they went through. But if you like look after yourself and you're healthy and you're happy, you're good mood, because you're sleeping right, and you're taking care of yourself, you're eating well, all of a sudden, you could start to make the argument that self growth is one of the best things you can do to other people, because ultimately you are in their reality. And so, yeah, that's my bite size little bit of intelligence for the day. Just a way of thinking about things, right? So the whole goal here is to not just um, teach things, but like if you understand how you answered that question, right? It's like there was initially an impossible question and then an indirect answer to sort of point out the fact that the question wasn't valid. And sometimes we have to understand that questions aren't valid to find a really good answer to things. Anyways, this is my channel, Realization Inc. And it's a place I share existential philosophy as, a way to help people, understand, live purposeful lives. Maybe there isn't just one point to the channel, but it's ultimately there, maybe just for myself, and so I can look back one day and just sort of remember the things in the past. But hope you enjoy the ride along with me.